Hello, good evening. I'm recording this in the evening. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, good whatever time you are watching this. Welcome to another episode of Thriving Beyond Borders. My name is Nnamdi Henanj. I'm your host. I'm also the founder and executive director here at the African Immigrant Collective, and I'm grateful that you have tuned in to this episode of Thriving Beyond Borders. And today I want to dive into a very, very important conversation. But before I jump in, if you're new, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. Here on Driving Beyond Borders, we have meaningful conversations that help us as African immigrants, African diaspora, first gen, whatever category you fall into, excel and move from surviving to thriving here in our new home. And that's what we do. And today I want to talk about the wealth gap that no one talks about and how African immigrants can build lasting financial stability, right? And this topic is important because we work hard, right? We work very hard. We send money home, we pay our bills. But somewhere between survival and success, wealth building falls off the list entirely, right? And today I want to talk about why that happens and what you can actually do about it. This is so important because I know you feel that. A lot of you watching this right now, you feel it, right? Where you feel like I am doing okay, but I am not building wealth, right? I am not building enough to like miss a couple of paychecks and I'm in a hole, right? Because of all of the obligations I have to carry. That's the conversation. And so I want to get into a few things when it comes to this conversation around building wealth as immigrants. And I want to lead with why immigrants earn but don't always build. Why we earn but we don't always build. There's something called the remittance trap, and that is sending out wealth faster than it accumulates. Right? It is, you're always remitting, you are on all of the different platforms and you are constantly sending money home as you earn it, right? While you're paying bills here, the rest of it you are sending home because of obligations and expectations. And it feels like, man, I have to do this. Question is, do you? Right? And I'm not saying abandon any obligations you might have, but at the pace and rate, are you doing beyond your capacity? Right? Are you doing beyond what you're supposed to be doing or what you are capable of? If you have the means, go for it. Right? But don't fall into the trap of overdoing or trying to keep up with the Joneses, which is something a lot of us fall into the trap. One trap that a lot of us fall into. The remittance trap. Right? There's the culture of, the cultural script of sacrifice, working for the next generation without investing for yourself in the present. Listen, if you don't have enough, you don't have anything to give to the next generation. And so it's like, I'm working for the next generation, I am sacrificing for them, but I don't have anything to show for me. Because it's what you have that you have to pass on. Right? And so that's another reason why we earn but we don't always build. We were telling ourselves, I have to keep working for the next generation. And then there's also system gaps, that we don't know how to navigate. And by we, I mean immigrants. We don't know how to navigate. Some people are not familiar with the context of credit history, employer 401k matching, HSA. HSAs, tax advantage accounts, those kind of things. And that is not our fault necessarily. As an immigrant, that's not a conversation you were having, growing up. Right? You didn't hear anybody talking about 401ks. It was called something else. In fact, the people who had pensions, you had to work in government or specific kind of parastatals back home to have a pension, right? And so a lot of us didn't grow up hearing that phrase, around retirement savings. Some of those, again, the terms are different because we're in a new country. And so it's a completely new concept for a lot of us. And so we don't know, we're not even familiar with it, so we have to learn. And some people just completely ignore it. I know people who just don't contribute anything. They are working, they're earning, they are eligible for some of those 401ks and the matching and all of that, and they don't. It's just discounted, right? And it's not funny, but it is. Because you don't know, right? Because you don't know. Some people contribute, some people don't, some don't maximize it, they don't understand how any of these things work. Or let's just stop saying we don't understand how some of these things work. And that becomes a challenge that we face and we have to navigate. And then we deal with these things and it's like a setback. But one thing for sure is we're not behind because we're not working hard enough. Or you that's watching this, you're not behind because you're not working hard enough. You may be behind because no one showed you the full system. And that's one of the things, right? That's a big thing. We don't completely, if you don't understand how the system works, it puts you in a precarious situation because then you don't necessarily know, or you're not equipped to leverage it optimally, if that makes sense, right? And so I want to talk about three asset wealth stack, right? Just to get into how we can start building wealth and shifting from that mindset of just earning. All right. So asset one in the asset wealth stack is liquid safety, right? And that is your emergency and opportunity fund. Okay, and the standard industry standard, you see people talk about this, Dave Ramsey's and a lot of financial people talk about having a 6 month shield, right? Having that 6 month shield, but now not just something that lets you have 6 months that living expenses saved, but you have an opportunity layer on top of that, right? So it's not just if something goes wrong, but also what if an opportunity comes and that's you need cash to get in, because a lot of times some of these opportunities you need to move quickly, like some of these really good ones they happen and you need money to get in, and so now you're liquid. Okay, so when you have a business idea, an investment opportunity, a career pivot shows up, and you need accessible capital to act. That's what this is about, right? So it's beyond just surviving. It's about being liquid enough to move when the opportunity shows up. Also, survival, right? If something happens. Okay, so targeting that 6 months of expenses and savings plus a 1 to 3 month opportunity reserve, right? It's something we need to start thinking about. We need to start working towards. So you have enough if anything happens, and your income source, especially now. I think 2026, I haven't seen, it started in 2025, but this year has seen a lot of mass layoffs like never before. And I haven't seen the numbers because, again, bad news is always louder than good news. I haven't seen the number of jobs that AI has created or any of that, or the jobs reports. But the numbers, I know people personally who have lost jobs, who are out of work. And these are good people, smart people who are putting time, right? We had the Meta layoffs, Oracle, Google, like these big companies, and not because they are making losses, just because they are shifting, right? Certain roles are being phased out because of the advancement in artificial intelligence, or that dependence in AI. And so, and again, I'm digressing, but it's to an extent that we have not seen before. Okay, not ever, not in my lifetime. I haven't seen this number of mass layoffs. And again, my hope is that equivalent opportunities are being created as they are layoffs. Okay, but it's happening, and so it's wise to take this conversation seriously, right? It's wise to take it seriously. It's wise to start paying attention to having a safety net for one for survival in case of emergency, in case of loss of income or for any reason, but also having that opportunity reserve so that if something comes open and you need to move quickly, you have liquid funds to jump on that. All right, so that's the first in your wealth stack that you need to build. The second asset you need to start thinking of working is income producing skills, right? And this is the human capital bucket. Okay, this part I am okay saying we're all right. Right? A lot of immigrants, regardless of the country you come from, in the African continent, most of us, if you're coming to the US, you probably are educated already, or you came here to go to school, and so we are educated. Now, the one thing I want to emphasize: education does not always translate to skill, right? But again, I know our people, we go for whatever is trending. So be intentional about building, not just acquiring skills or degrees, but income producing skills, right? Your expertise is an asset that compounds. And my question is, are you actively investing in it? That means not just resting on your laurels, right? You have the degree, you have the MBA, you have the masters. Are the things still relevant for today's workforce? Is it still relevant for what the market is looking for today? Again, the evolution of technology and jobs being phased out, different titles no longer being, not having as much opportunities as before. There needs to be an intentionality with learning, unlearning, relearning, right? And so income producing skills, staying updated on credentials, on certifications, specialized knowledge that commands premium income. Some jobs pay better than some jobs. We need to make sure we're plugged into the right ones. I don't care what your passion is or you're passionate about. It has to be able to pay you or make you money. If not, learn a skill, become good at it, and then let your skill, let your income fund your passion. Right? Don't let passion stop you from income. Okay, because the bills are real, obligations are real. The people back home are not going to stop depending on or asking you for. They believe you are in America, in the land where money grows on trees. So you better go start plucking some of those trees. All right, and it's so important, right? That is why upskilling is a big deal, right? The skills that are, there are many fields, especially in tech. There are many career paths that were hot last year, that were hot 2 years ago, that were in demand. Let me phrase it that way. And today you don't see them. You don't see those titles anymore. And so what do? Do you just sit down and not do anything? No, you go upskill, you go learn. That's what 2026 demands. That's just how it goes. And so leverage, opportunities to learn, stay in that learning mode and constantly continue to learn. So build that, build your human capital, those income producing skills. That's your second layer of in your asset stacking for building wealth. It's your skill. Somebody says it's the more you learn, the more you are able to earn. And then asset class number 3 is ownership. Have equity in something, right? We had our masterclass series today, and it was on real estate and how to get into real estate, different opportunities. And the realtor that took the session really took time to get into opportunities and how we can get started. But one thing she emphasized was just start. Right? Especially now in 2026, it's a buyer's market because a lot of people are looking to sell. Okay, and again, I want to be careful because I'm not a real estate expert. I am just quoting what I learned today. It's a bias because more people are willing to sell. And so according to her, what she's seeing is because there's more inventory available to sell than there are people willing to buy, it puts the buyer in a position to negotiate, get better deals. Does that make sense? And so she was talking about how with the right, with having the right conversations and the right realtor, some people are able to get, the standard things, maybe reduced down payment options, closing cost cover for first-time home buyers. That's pretty common. But something she brought up today was even people are willing to just do a 100% financing. That means zero out-of-pocket expenses. If it's 100% financing and closing costs covered, or even if it's not covered, now you can get started for very little money. And so, but the lesson there was start building assets, right? Look for something that costs exactly the same as your current rent. Have a conversation with your realtor and say, hey, this is how much I pay in rent. And so can I get something that I can be paying around the same neighborhood as I am paying right now in rent? Because once you acquire that first home, you start building equity, right? I know there are different conversations. I'm not speaking as a real estate expert, so there's nuance and all of that that's involved in real estate. But what I'm trying to drive home is begin to think real estate, begin to think ownership, begin to think equity, right? I'm using real estate as an example because that's something we talked about today. But there are other like business equity, stock, owning stock, that stock market participation, retirement accounts, all of that. Real estate, so go begin to think about how can I get in, or what can I own? There is a tendency we have as immigrants to defer ownership. Again, because of obligations, you're thinking, okay, I'm not able to save enough to do a down payment because of all the obligations I have, right? And we say things like, I'll start investing when things settle down. And the question is, since you've lived in America, since you've lived in diaspora, when have things settled down? When has there been no issues and no emergencies back home? I was talking to a friend several years back, and he was saying, Namdi, some days you have to just fight back the urge and be like, you know what, let the worst happen and we'll see but I cannot do what I can do. And just hold yourself back and let the wave of manipulation, let it pass. And what I've found out a lot of the time is everybody's gonna be fine, right? And again, I'm not saying ignore. I've been, if you watch again, go back and watch our previous episodes, of this, of just where I stand around obligations. I think we have obligations to take care of. You have people. There are things you cannot abandon, right? There are people who have sacrificed for you to get to where you are, and they're looking up to you now because they genuinely can't take care of themselves. You don't ignore those people. You don't ignore those responsibilities and obligations. It is the extra ones. It's the I carried you, do something. It is, oh, I'm your baptismal father. Right? It's those ones. And so based off of that, you need to be sending me something. Right? It's the random made up somebody is just perpetually sick all the time. Really, right? And the thing is, the game is the game because some of you even played it when you were back home. You even did it yourself. And so now it's almost like you feel like, I'm reaping what I sowed. So if that's the case, but where I'm going is don't defer ownership because there will never really come a time where all the stars align and everything. No. If you're going to build wealth, you have to start, putting away money towards that. You have to start investing in skills. You have to start investing. You have to start investing, period. And so start, right? It's never going to be ideal. Things will never fully align. So start, right? Starting small is not the same. It's not the same as not starting, right? Starts with contributing to your 401k. Get some education, ask some questions. A lot of organizations, if you work in an organization that offers a 401k, more than likely they have an HR department that you can ask some questions to get clarity. It is okay, they will explain, right? Figure out what does this imply, what does this mean, and get some education. This is 2026, ChatGPT the thing, right? And get some information, do some research, and understand this, and get involved, start contributing to retirement accounts. Again, there's savvy investing. There are people who are savvy investors, they are knowledgeable, and they play a different game, right? You are just, if you are that category of person, then sure, play that game, right? You're not the person I'm talking to. You are knowledgeable about the stock market and brokerage accounts and, all the S&P 500s and, all the jargons, the puts and the stops and if you know all those things, then this is not you. You are an investor. You are at least very knowledge. You didn't just stumble across that knowledge. You've done some learning and all. I am talking to the person who is just has a regular job, works in IT, works in cybersecurity, works as a nurse, working, 10, 12 hours a day and has their family and they don't have time. And those years are passing by. It's a person I'm talking to. Just don't complicate it. Don't try to be a savvy investor. Do the standard things and at least start securing your retirement, your future. Don't start debating with government is there. Don't deal with it. At some point, yes, it's good if you have the window to get the knowledge. The more you know, the better, right? Then you can start being technical and, you can start manipulating things around. But at least it's better you've built your investment pool to a certain amount and then you get knowledge and realize, okay, I've been doing this, maybe I should shift money around. But now you have something to play with versus not doing it at all because because you feel like the system is trying to cheat you or the government is playing games and nah, don't be a conspiracy theorist, right? Go and start thinking about wealth building and your future. Start small. Just start putting something away. Do that consistently every month. Build that discipline and that muscle. Ownership is what separates income earners from wealth builders, right? Income earning is good, but that's your vehicle to building wealth, right? So I'm never going to be one for, don't work a job or a 9 to 5. Nah, it's important. It's a job. It's honorable work. But it's also time is passing. And this time is you have to get intentional about your future. Right, I remember there was a reel that went viral. Was it last year, or a couple of years ago, or maybe during the pandemic? Like any money what I see now and enjoyment, I don't worry about my future. My future don't go anywhere. Well, the future is going. You are going to meet it. It's there. That's true. It's not going anywhere. Well, you're going to meet it there. So don't use any money you get for enjoyment. Put away some for that future that you're going to meet. Because if you don't put money in that future, when you get there, you will need money and you will not see. Right, and so start now. Right, any money you get, please put some away for the future, so that when you meet the future will be happy with you, and you can meet the future and not be upset at each other. So that is my deal, right? And so I want you to, I want to talk about your one world move you need to start making this month, right? Because in the end, this is about equipping us to thrive, right? Move from survival to thriving. Okay, there are three options, that you can explore again as an income earner. Again, do some research on this. I'm just going to throw things at you. Some of us already know this, some of us don't. Okay, if you've ever listened to an insurance presentation, you probably heard about some of these things. Your Roth IRA, increase your 401 so you can open a Roth IRA account. That's something you can do. They're self-directed Roths. Again, I don't want to get technical because I know I am not a certified person. I want to say these things and force you to go do the research and take action. All right. You can start by opening a Roth IRA if you don't have that. You can increase your 401k contributions, right? If your company matches up to a certain amount, then contribute up until they are going to match. If it's contribute up to 5%, then if they will match up to 5%, at least make sure you're contributing to that 5% so that they can match it full, right? It's free money. Go take it. Okay, increase it. If you are beneath the match, up it. It's gas money for a month or something about like that. It's not significant. A lot of the time, it's not major. And again, if you're, let me not speak for your money, but I'm just saying it. A lot of the time is not as significant because it's pre-tax money, right? So increase your contribution. And last one, you can open a dedicated opportunity savings account. So not your emergency 6 months emergency. Now this is the opportunity one. That's your 3 months livable expense. That's therefore when the opportunity comes and you need to jump on it, right? You don't need to do all three that I just talked about. Just find one. Which one? Is it contributing more to your 401k? Is it opening a Roth IRA? Is it the opportunity savings account? Which one are you going to do this month? This is as I record this, it's June. We're in the middle of June. Before this month ends, I want you to take action on this, right? I need to take a step on this one and let's see where it goes. Now, this is important. Again, one of the things, this is a very major call for us at the African American Collective because we want people to thrive. That our whole ecosystem is built around, no one has to start from scratch. We want to provide, equip our people with resources, with tools, with the things they need to thrive, the things that we need to thrive here in our new home. And so part of it is making sure people are informed, and we encourage and provide platforms for people to go start businesses, to become better investors, to start new careers. And one vehicle that we have used or that we use here at the African American Collective to accomplish this is our catalyst programs. And we have our catalyst programs that are across all the 4 pillars that make up the collective. So new immigrant support, advocacy and civic engagement, business and entrepreneurship, and then career development. Our goals, one of our major goals this year was to launch the Catalyst programs, and I'm very proud to announce that we did. I know we've been talking about it, so you're probably not hearing it for the first time if you've been following us, but we did launch our Business Igniter program in partnership with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, the Gwinnett Chamber Foundation. It's the foundation, the non-profit arm of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, and we partnered with them to run the Business Igniter program, for our new business owners who are the early stage business owners and founders, and it's been incredible. And they finished their program and they will be graduating on June 27th. This is also going to be our advocacy and policy conference. So 2 of our pillars finding expression in one day. Our pillar of providing opportunities in business and entrepreneurship and civic engagement and advocacy. So our conference will also double as a graduation ceremony for our Business Igniter students. And so this is something we live and breathe, and we try to ensure that we are positioning our people to find success here in our new homes. And so I want you, again, it's going to be in a couple of weeks from the time you watch this video, make arrangements to be present and in the room. It's going to be an incredible event. We have elected officials, we have business leaders, we have community leaders, we have leaders in the civic space, we have leaders in the poverty alleviation space, we have people in the providing opportunity, workforce mobility, career development spaces, right, who are going to be present and leading conversations and sharing knowledge. Meaningful connections will happen. You will get to see our Business Igniter, graduates, and they'll be displaying their businesses. You get to experience what they've worked on, what they've built. over the last few weeks that they've been going through the program, and so I'm excited. And so I want to invite you out to today's event. So June 27th is the date. I want you to be there. If you're in Atlanta, then come through. And we will make up, as we get closer to the event, if we see there is a higher demand for a virtual option, then we will make that available. We do plan to, but we're primarily pushing this for locally. So we invite you to come out. If you're out of town, get a flight, get in, come catch a game, a World Cup game, and then be a part of the conference, right? All right, so I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. The registration link will be in the description. It's going to be somewhere around this video, so go ahead and sign up for this. It's going to be incredible. I look forward to seeing you in the A. Let's go. Thank you for watching. God bless you. I keep thriving beyond borders. Till next time, my name is Nnamdi Iheanacho, and go and subscribe, share this video, do all the things you know you need to do. Let's keep growing the channel, and we can help us reach every African immigrant here in the United States. God bless you.